Martin Scorsese-directed film, The Irishman, which chronicles the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa, swiftly shook up the awards season when it debuted on Netflix. After witnessing the epic movie, though this question has remained, is The Irishman a true story? In this video, we tell you what you need to know about the true story of The Irishman. So, let's get started. To start with, The Irishman is a fictionalized crime thriller based on Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance, a mystery that has yet to be solved. The Netflix award-winning movie tells the tale of Francis Joseph Sheeran, the Irishman who was also an associate of Jimmy Hoffa. The Irishman scene begins in a retirement home in early 2000 as Frank Sheeran takes the audience on tour through some of the most notorious criminal acts of the 20th century. He looks back on his past as a house painter or hitman to see how he got to where he is now. Frank Sheeran was a veteran of World War II who drove a truck for a meat packing company before he started hanging out with gangsters. Frank Sheeran meets Russell Bufalino, who is in charge of a significant Pennsylvania crime family. Bufalino introduced Frank Sheeran to Jimmy Hoffa, the president of Teamsters International. Sheeran and Hoffa became close friends and business associates. As the Irishman scenes continue, Jimmy Hoffa somehow ends up in prison, and after his release, he tries to climb back to his position. But unfortunately for Jimmy, he falls on the hit list of the crime groups. On July 30, 1975, Jimmy Hoffa disappeared from the face of the world and left many people in awe.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
The Irishman scenes shiver down your spine. Check out The Irishman if you've not had time to watch it yet. We hope you are following this mystic story we are sharing. And if you are enjoying every bit of it, then subscribe to this channel for similar interesting mystical content. Moving on, the scenes in The Irishman have been a primary source of debate about whether or not it is a true story. Nonetheless, many of the details in the scenes of The Irishman are correct. Frank Sheeran was a World War II veteran, and he was a friend of Jimmy Hoffa. The Irishman scene where Frank assaults a grocer for pushing his daughter, Peggy, is also true, as confirmed by Dolores, Frank's other daughter. However, it's crucial to note that The Irishman is based solely on Sheeran's account of the events leading up to and following Hoffa's disappearance. But it is also the closest to the real-life events in Jimmy Hoffa's life, which we will discuss shortly, so stay tuned. Furthermore, The Irishman is based on the novel I Heard You Paint Houses, written by Charles Brandt. Charles Brandt was a former homicide prosecutor, and he is said to have interviewed Frank Sheeran on his stand in his associate Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance. Frank confesses to carrying out murders for the Bufalino crime family in the book. His accounts of events at the time also show that he killed Jimmy Hoffa himself. When the book I Heard You Paint Houses was released, publishers weakly called it a rambling account that was long on sensational claims and short on credibility. Many other authorities also don't agree to this claim. So was Frank Sheeran's confession a lie? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. But if you have heard anything about this, but if you haven't, then keep watching. We have answers further in this video. Again, many people, including Frank Sheeran, have claimed ownership of Jimmy's death. Authorities, on the other hand, have conducted exhaustive investigations into this incident. We will soon be telling you what the FBI has since done in finding leads to Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance, so stay tuned. Moving on, long before he disappeared, Jimmy Hoffa was a well-known figure. Hoffa was born in the small Indiana town of Brazil in February 1913. By 1957, he became one of the country's most influential union leaders after taking over the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. During his tenure as union president, Hoffa was repeatedly accused of ties to the American mafia and organized crime. When Hoffa was convicted of jury manipulation in 1967, President Nixon released him in 1971 as part of a bargain that compelled him to resign from the Teamsters leadership. By the summer of 1975, Hoffa had lost much of his former power. After traveling to Michigan to meet the Teamsters leaders, he disappeared on July 30, 1975. The narrative of the 2019 film The Irishman tried to solve the mystery of Jimmy's disappearance by using the confession of Frank Sheeran to Jimmy Hoffa's death. However, Frank's confession still has some people scratching their heads. So sorry to those who believe The Irishman doubled as a history lesson, because not all the scenes in The Irishman are clear facts. And after all, there's a reason The Irishman is said to be built on a true story. It's not the actual story itself. It merely takes facts from the story Frank Sheeran told. But until now, no one knows the truth about Jimmy's disappearance. Despite the widespread belief that Frank Sheeran killed Jimmy Hoffa, his body has never been located, and the truth surrounding his death remains a mystery. In addition, several unsuccessful searches for Hoffa's body have occurred over the years. Investigators have examined a variety of locations in Michigan, from a farm to beneath a swimming pool, where Hoffa was last seen, but no leads have been found. Even in New Jersey, a long-running urban legend claims that Hoffa's remains were hidden beneath the old New York Giants football stadium. The FBI agent in charge of Hoffa's case, Robert Garrity, said that Sheeran was one of Hoffa's friends, but not the person who killed him. Garrity told the Daily Beast, "He's an interesting guy. He was close to organized crime people, and he was one of the best friends of Mr. Hoffa." Hoffa's disappearance remains a mystery to this day. The narrative of The Irishman enthralled America, and the convergence of so many uncertainties in one case indicates Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance as one of America's most enduring cases. If you enjoyed watching this video, then send this video out to any of your pals interested in crime thrillers. Thanks for watching. We will see you soon in the following video.